Hello everybody, it's WarnogGamer4 here, back again with another Armored Core 6 challenge run video. And for this one, I'm going to be taking up the challenge of being Invincible Rummy from the start of the game to the end. And this run was recommended to me by quite a lot of people in the comments. So sit back, relax, and watch me bring Mad Stomp all the way to the top. And one last quick note, all my OS tuning is going to be maxed out. I need to give myself at least a little bit of a bonus, as I can't modify anything else once the AC data has been confirmed. And now to start off, I already encountered a problem. My EN bar does not deplete and still gets used up. This is unfortunately a visual glitch that is caused by my drivers. So give me a sec to downgrade my AMD drivers. Alrighty, after downgrading my graphics card driver, everything is back to normal. And for right now at least, these missions are very easy. But of course they have to be, because these are the first missions that the game gives you. This also gives me a good opportunity to get used to the weapons that I have on me, which is the chainsaw and the pepper box gun. And one neat little thing about the chainsaw is that it's constantly doing damage. So sticking to the enemy like glue is very much preferred. But anyways, after destroying the dam, I destroyed a mining strider without much of a problem, except for the fact that I have a low amount of energy capacity. Because of the low EN capacity, I have to be very mindful on its consumption. With the mining strider destroyed, it's now time for Invincible Rummy to participate in Operation Wall Climber. And in the first part of the operation, there was no trouble at all. And in the second part, it's time to fight the Juggernaut boss. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought this boss was gonna be a bit more difficult because of how slow my weapons are. But that didn't really matter because I just stuck to it like a leech. The constant impact damage from the chainsaw made the boss very easy to stagger. And in this game, an easily staggerable boss means an easy win. Even when Rusty left, I just chainsawed my way to victory. This fight lasted about 2 minutes and 9 seconds, and after this point I wondered whether the bosses are going to be easy or hard to deal with. But that doesn't matter because Invincible Rummy will handle it all. With the wall conquered, it's now time to deal with the mission that has invisible mechs. There's nothing a giant old chainsaw can't handle. It's time to rip and tear until it's done. The next mission after is a very calming scan mission. And now it's time to conclude the chapter by attacking the watch point. The first part of the mission is a very easy just eliminate the enemies. Nothing the Sweet 16 on my right hand can't handle. And in the next part, it's time to fight Sula. And I would have taken him out very quickly if I didn't bounce off at the last moment. I don't know what happened there, but it's pretty infuriating that it happened. But whatever, Sula gets chainsawed to death. And next up I just chainsaw the device. And to conclude the mission, it's time to fight the Balteus. The Balteus is very good at keeping its distance, and because of this AC, it makes it a tad difficult to get close to it. But once I do get close, I absolutely annihilate its shields. And if I get it in the stagger combo, I absolutely destroy its health as well. But because of that confidence, I completely forgot about its second phase transition attack. Now here in the second phase, things did not go very smoothly. I could have very quickly defeated the Balteus, but unfortunately because of my own screw-ups and mistiming, along with the game being kind of an ass, this fight took a lot longer than it needed to be. But even though the chainsaw was acting kind of buggy, I was able to beat the boss. The fight lasted about 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and I was able to do this in my first attempt. With the missile spam boss defeated, it's now time to start chapter 2. And now it's time to fight my clone, who can suffer the same problems as I do with the chainsaw. And unfortunately for him, there can only be one invincible Rummy, and that's me. And after asserting my dominance, I take a little detour, and I destroy the AC that was hiding in the little corner here. Afterwards, I take a small little molten bath, accidentally hurt myself with the traps placed here. And after taking out whatever MTs that survived, and now it's time to fight the boss of this mission, which is the Smart Cleaner. This machine didn't give me much problems, but it did toss me around like a damn ragdoll at times. For most of the fight, I spent shooting its intake in the back, and when it was close to getting staggered, I would chainsaw its main body. And once it got staggered, it was just time to deal damage. And unfortunately for me, during the damage phase, the chainsaw would hit the wrong location, causing it to hit the armored part instead of the weak spot. But after a bit, I was just able to take it down with a pepper box to the face. The fight lasted about 3 minutes and 34 seconds, and I did it in my first attempt. This challenge is actually going pretty smoothly, for now at least. But anyways, the next mission I gotta deal with a bunch of coyotes. And after that, it's time to finish up chapter 2 with the ocean crossing mission. And this time around, I decided to take the top path where the giant laser can shoot me. And fortunately for me, I didn't get hit that many times. But it's still pretty scary because I'm pretty sure the laser can just 2-tap me. But once the satellite laser section is over, it's time to deal with these very easy to destroy mechs. And after that part, it's time to fight against the sea spider. And as long as I stayed close to the sea spider, it was pretty easy to stagger. You gotta rip and tear until it's done. And one other thing that I realized in this fight is that Mad Stomp has a crazy amount of defense. There are times when the sea spider hits me with its giant laser and I can just shrug it off. And that made the first phase pretty easy to deal with. In the second phase, I pretty much just stood on top of it and just chainsawed it. And that was pretty much game over for the Sea Spider. The fight lasted about 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and I suffered 0 deaths. Yep, I'm feeling pretty invincible right now. And now with the Sea Spider destroyed, it's time to yeet myself across the ocean. And now it's time to start up Chapter 3. And for the first mission, I just gotta scan a few things. And then deal with whatever the PCA decides to throw at me. But I'm here to teach them that nothing can stop the Invincible Rummy and Mad Stomp. And now in the next mission, I gotta destroy a poorly defended device. And then quickly escape the Kool-Aid caves. Next up, I gotta do a stealth mission with the stealthiest weapon of them all, a revved up chainsaw. Then I had to assassinate Swinburne.
I don't know who put you up to this.
And after refusing the peace agreement, I just chainsawed him to death. And now in the next mission, I destroy an energy refinery plant. And that causes me to deal with some PCA special forces. In this fight, I'd usually deal with the melee combatant first. But this time around, I decided to deal with the ranged one. And after he goes down, the melee one was not difficult to deal with at all. A completely revved up chainsaw attack just easily staggers him, and because of that it was very easy to win against him, even though I did almost die. And now for the mission next up, it's time to destroy the Special Forces craft. And that means it's time to fight against the Cataphract. I find funny that they were expecting a Raven in this fight, but now instead they're dealing with Invincible Rummy here. And now it's time to rip and tear until it's done. No amount of lasers are gonna stop me. Yep, no Loader 4 or Nightfall here. Only Mad Stomp. This fight lasted about 1 minute and 34 seconds, and I did this in my first attempt. And with the Cataphract destroyed, it's now time to deal with the Silent Hill mission, but this time around I'm the monster. And after scanning whatever I had to scan, it's now time to deal with the heavy attack helicopter. It was pretty annoying to catch up to because of my low amount of EN. Well, when I do catch up to it, I absolutely destroy its health. And in the end, when it barely had any health, I had to use my kicks to get high enough in order to shoot it down. After that, in the next mission I had to defend a few missiles, which is not very noteworthy. And after that, it's time to attack the old spaceport. And in this mission, I gotta destroy a bunch of warships, deal with a few snipers here and there, and then destroy even more warships. But that's the easy part, because next up it's time to deal with more PCA pilots. And fortunately for me in this part, I got Rusty to help me.
Hope you've got mine.
The chainsaw is actually very good at dealing with these guys if I can land it. Unfortunately, the game loves to disagree with me. But that isn't gonna stop me. And now with the HC destroyed, it's time to deal with the LC. It's pretty difficult to catch up to, but fortunately Rusty's here to help me.
Code 7AE received. System processing.
Nice work, buddy. Looks great.
And after it goes down, it's time to completely ignore the worm problem that's happening right after. Now in the mission after, I just gotta scan a few things for Ayre. And then next up, I gotta avoid traps set up by honest brutes.
They'll be much more dangerous in tight quarters.
Jump down there and we've got him cornered.
Then deal with honest brute himself. He has a chainsaw, which makes it a chainsaw versus chainsaw battle. But there's a difference between me and him. He misses his attempts, but I don't. And with that mission over, it's time to deal with Raven. Fighting Raven led me to getting wombo comboed and suffering my first death. I thought I was gonna die a lot sooner than this in a run, but here it is. I don't know what happens to the AI at times, but he just gave me the win here. That was too damn easy. And because of that, I decided to take the alternate version of the mission. And that means I gotta deal with 2 extra AC pilots. And unfortunately for me, dealing with King first was not a good idea. That led me to a pretty weakened state and caused my fall. I'm actually not very good against enemies that have shields, so I went after Chartreuse first. It gave me much better results, but I ended up dying a few times. Because of how slow Chartreuse's AC is, it was very easy to chainsaw and shoot at. And because of this, it led to a very easy takedown. Next up to deal with is King and his very annoying shield. He took a bit of sweet 16 shots, but after staggering him, the shield pops and I try to burst him down as fast as I can. With 2 of the enemy AC pilots destroyed, it's now time to deal with Raven. And to tell you the truth, the fight did not go well. And the only reason I won was because of sheer luck. I was able to burst him down by chainsawing him into a corner, then continue the damage with a sweet 16 shot and a singular kick. But I'm satisfied with that victory. And with Nightfall Raven destroyed 2 times, it's now time to deal with the Ice Worm. And I'm going to be doing this boss without the stun needle launcher. And let me tell you, this is not an easy fight without it. For the first 1/3 of the fight, I had to go pure melee on the worm in order to take down the shields. And that meant I only have 2 opportunities to attack it. One of which is when it tries to slam onto me. And the other opportunity is when it decides to slide across the entire arena. If I don't conserve ammo in this part, I know I won't have enough for the last phase. And because of this, it took a damn while before I can actually damage the worm. And during the damage phase, I only have just enough to finish it. During the second turn of the fight, I cycle between meleeing the boss and occasionally shooting at it. And after the second time damaging it, it's now time for the difficult part. In this final phase, the worm is now electrified and it makes it very dangerous to melee it. And this is the main reason why I was conserving ammo in the first two parts. Whenever the worm would use its much more slower attacks, I would just drive-by shoot it. And there are times when I screwed up pretty bad. And those mistakes made me use up all my repair kits. And because of this, I had to play a bit more safely. But eventually I was able to take down the shield, and then start the final damage phase. And after barely winning, the worm goes down. I took 34 minutes fighting this boss. I ended up dying 3 times, and restarted my attempts about 4 times. So the total time of fighting this boss was about 2 hours and 30 minutes.
What are you doing? The mission. What are you doing?
But now that the worm is destroyed, it is now time to head into Chapter 4. And for the first mission in Chapter 4, I have to drop into a giant pit and deal with the security going down. The laser cannon at the bottom deals a giant amount of damage. But after reaching it, it's a very easy thing to take down. In the next mission, I have to head deeper into the facility. Then next up, I have to deal with the Guayasu, who was being a slippery little snake this time.
That quack messed me up.
The bastard was dodging my chainsaw a little too well. But when I caught up to him, it was pretty much game over. Now it's time to head deeper into the mission. Go into a ventilation shaft, refresh my supplies and health, and now it's time to deal with the Enforcer. And during this fight, I can never seem to dodge the first strike effectively. Now fighting the boss was a tad bit annoying because he just loves to boost around the arena. And he also has pretty fast recovery when he gets staggered. But fortunately for me, I was actually able to get him stuck a few times. He was able to escape it for a bit, but I was able to get him stuck again. But again, this didn't last very long. But it did give me a good opportunity to deal some free damage. And afterwards, it pretty much just turned into a normal fight with me almost dying. The fight lasted about 2 minutes and 32 seconds, and I only died 1 time. Now in the next mission, I gotta disable a giant laser grid, which means I gotta deal with the security while going inside of the pressure chamber, and the security after the pressure chamber goes critical. And fortunately for me, the chainsaw does pretty good work against the Moonlight mech. And once I escape, it's now time for a very annoying mission. And that mission is to intercept the red guns. Normally this mission for me isn't that much of a problem, but with my current setup, it's actually pretty damn difficult. And it also doesn't help that in this mission, my chainsaw did not agree with me at all. This is perfect use of the chainsaw. Just some nice and clean hits. And this is when the game just wants to fuck my day up. And unfortunately, because of how this mission is, one chainsaw malfunction is pretty much a death sentence. So for this decision mission, I have to deal with any MTs that pop up rapidly. Not only that, but I have to conserve as much ammo as I can because dealing with Michigan with only a chainsaw is not a good idea. So most of this battle, I just used my kick, and to deal with the little flying enemies, I would boost right into them to destroy them. And when Michigan pops up, I try to stay away from him as far as possible while still trying to destroy MTs. And once all the MTs are destroyed, it's time to lure Michigan into a close range battle.
Watch and learn, maggots.
And here I would chainsaw Michigan to the best of my abilities. Praying that my chainsaw would hit the enemy. And eventually, after a shot and a kick, Michigan goes down. And after that annoying ordeal, it's now time to fight Rusty in the next mission. And Rusty here was very easy to chainsaw down. Like seriously, I would just cut right through him like butter. And now it's time to conclude Chapter 4 by completing the mission to reach the Coral Convergence. Here again I will just bounce off the enemy sometimes for no reason.
AP at 50%.
But fortunately for me, they will get easily stuck in a corner, so it wouldn't matter.
Please, snail!
Now it's time to continue by ignoring everything along the way. Recover my supplies quickly. And now it's time to fight against AAP07 This boss here wasn't much of a problem to deal with for me, fortunately. I would pretty much just stay as far away as possible. As long as I kept my distance, it was not that difficult to dodge its attacks. And wait for it to do its one specific attack in order to deal damage at it. And I would continue doing this until the first phase was complete. For the second phase, I pretty much did the same thing. Just wait for specific attacks that left itself vulnerable, then go in and chop it up with the chainsaw. But I do have to be careful of its new bladed attacks.
You've nearly got it, 621.
When it did its little starting attack again for the final time, I unfortunately screwed up my combo. I fucked up. But even though I screwed up, I left it at such low health that I was able to just get a good shot at it and finish the fight. And the fight lasted about 3 minutes and 55 seconds, and I only died one time. It really goes to show that patience is good against this boss. With Invincible Rummy being victorious, I get captured because I was just too damn dangerous. And now it's time to escape my imprisonment by using a jailbreak AC. But because this isn't Mad Stomp, I'm not gonna fight anyone and just let Carla do all of the work. And with that mission over, it's now time to start Chapter 5, where I gotta first defend 2 towers.
I'll support you.
For the most part, this mission wasn't that difficult. But around the end of it, I had to activate the security to help me. And I'm happy that I activated in the end as well, because it gave me time to deal with the HC that comes in. And now for this run, I decided to side with Carla and intercept the corporate forces. And let me tell you, the chainsaw is actually pretty good in this mission. But that's as long as it hits properly. I was able to cut right through the HCs without much of a problem. It's absolutely insane, honestly. And now at the end I have to deal with V1 Freud. And unfortunately for Mr. Freud here, it's nothing that Mad Stomp can't deal with. And now after tearing up V1, it's time for my favorite mission, which is to destroy the interceptor fleet. It's absolutely fun just going from warship to warship, just destroying them all. Yep, I'm feeling pretty damn invincible right now. But unfortunately for me, Rusty kinda makes me eat those words. But would it be Rusty or the game's stupid hit registration? I think I'm just gonna blame the hit registration more. So for the fight against Rusty, I just lure him into these 2 buildings here. In this location, I can make him fight me in my own terms. And once I get him into his second wind, I just stagger him one more time and it's game over for Rusty. And now before the final boss, there's one thing left to do. And that's to fight the Arquebus Balteus. There really isn't much of a reason for me to do this mission except for the fun of it. So for the start of this mission, I just gotta destroy a few generators. And then quickly deal with the smart cleaner again, but this time I have Rusty here to help me. Then I have to destroy the last 2 generators. Refill my supplies. And let me tell you, it was not that easy. And aside from dealing with very dumb hitboxes, I have to deal with a laser rave show. The Arquebus Balteus was actually quite challenging to deal with. Not only that, but this is one of the few bosses I have the least experience dealing with. And one thing I learned is that the chainsaw is very good, but it's also pretty ass against the Balteus. But in all seriousness, the chainsaw actually made it pretty easy to take down the shield. And once the shield goes down, I unleash my wombo combo that pretty much destroys 1/3 of the boss's health.
Bearing the enemy AC down. Maintain fire. How's it looking, buddy?
No, I completely forgot about that.
And now here in the second phase, I dodge as many lasers as I can.
And worst of all, you, the pest of Rubicon, who stirred the cinders.
And then I hug the boss as much as I can with my chainsaw.
Crush you underfoot. I am Arquebus.
I would have been able to defeat the boss right here, but because of the game's unfortunate hit registration, I had to go through the shield one more time.
AP at 50%.
And after one final shield destruction and one near fatal brain fart, the Arquebus Balteus goes down. The fight lasted about 3 minutes and 16 seconds, and I died 16 times.
I almost stumbled there.
Energy output is ramping up again.
Out of my sight. Finally. That traitor V4. Those dogs. Finally.
50%.
Finally 10. Finally 10.
Boy fighters, we need cover. Noted.
Finally.
AP at 30.
Finally 10.
I'm fucking scared of getting close.
50%.
No, I was in the.
And now after giving Snail a nice serrated massage, it's now time to deal with the final boss for the bad ending, Ayre.
You want to silence us forever.
Now for the fight against Ayre, it actually was not that bad.
Of this machine.
Of course I have to get close to her in order to deal damage, and that's a tad bit annoying because she just loves to blitz around the entire arena.
Together.
But whenever she tries to go to melee attack me, it gives me a good opportunity to hit her hard. The melee attacks sometimes get shielded by my mech, and that gives me the benefit of not flinching when she hits me. And now here in the second phase, the fight is made a lot easier for me because she no longer has that coral shield.
My brothers and sisters.
It's pretty funny because of how Mad Stomp works, it causes the second phase to be easier than the first.
Your fire must die.
No repair kits remaining.
And after giving Ayre the business end of my chainsaw, the last boss of the bad ending is defeated. The fight lasted about 2 minutes and 17 seconds, and I only failed one time.
I'll end this, Raven.
With Ayre defeated, the challenge run is now technically finished. But if you've seen my previous Armored Core videos, you know the run isn't over yet. And now it's time to fight the other last bosses. And the one next up is Walter.
Is that you?
I'm not 621, the name's Invincible Rummy. And unfortunately for me, in the first attempt, Walter just comboed me to death. But because such crime was enacted on me, I decided to combo him to death. But in order to do that, I had to bring him into low enough health that he'd just die in one combo, but also just high enough so that he wouldn't use a repair kit on himself.
AP at 50%.
And fortunately for me, during the combo, he decided to attack me with his melee weapon, which gave me the victory, as that gave me the opportunity to kick him to oblivion. This fight against Walter only took about 50 seconds, and I also failed it 2 times. With Walter defeated, it's now time for the final boss of the game. And unfortunately for me, that's ALLMIND. And let me tell you, this was one damn difficult fight. The difficulty I had in this fight was nearly on par with the Loader 4.
This time, you will die.
And just like in that challenge run, the beginning was my issue. AC ALLMIND was not fun with this weapon combo. And even when AC ALLMIND goes down, there's still 2 other phases to deal with. And that's not even worse yet because I had to compete with Ayre in order to do direct hit damage to ALLMIND. And accompany that with a very glitchy chainsaw. This final boss is the hardest part of the challenge run.
Of course.
Oh, and I can't forget the sea spiders. They're just 2 giant fuck yous to the face.
Let's get out of my head!
Great. And after so many tries, I was just done. I did what I needed to. I beat the game. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's just such a pain in the ass. The first part is the biggest pain in the ass. And honestly, I can't really manipulate the first part. AC ALLMIND. Because of how annoying the movement is. Not only that, but I sometimes just bounce off. My hits, my bullets do not hit him. That's just the aiming of the game. But, I'm done. I was close. It's possible. Yada yada yada. I'm sure someone else will be able to do it. But this time, it's not me. But this time, I'm not a part of the victory group. Yeah, after that little speech, I decided to try it again the next day. I didn't get angry as I did last time, but this fight was damn annoying. And this time I made sure I was recording the victory run. This is also going to be barely edited so you can see what I did for this fight. So for the first part, I dealt with the mini ACs as fast as I could have. I eliminated the mini ACs because they'd get in the way whenever I would try to attack the boss. And as for AC ALLMIND, I would use my melee lunge in order to get close. The reason for this was to cause the boss to boost dodge. And when it does this, I follow the boss and it gives me a good opportunity to shoot at it. And when the boss gets staggered, I do some pretty good work with the chainsaw. And now all I need to do is hit one good shot and the first phase is done.
Raven. ALLMIND's going to try something. I'll support you, Raven.
Damn noise.
Now here in the second phase, I keep my distance and play very passively. The reason for this is so that Ayre can focus on ALLMIND and ignore the sea spiders so we can just damage the boss. And after the boss is no longer staggered, I just retreat and wait again. And fortunately for me, this phase did not take so long.
I said I don't care about ALLMIND. You want some of this, I'll give it to you.
And after a chainsaw and a sweet 16 to the back, it's time for the final phase.
Shut up! I'll shut you all up!
It's resonating.
What are you?
Interference. I'm losing sync.
And now here in this final part, I do not have a good amount of energy capacity or vertical thrusters to work with. But luckily for me, I got blessed by luck and RNGesus in this fight. And the reason I say this is because he barely shot at me and focused on melee. And after the first two phases went so well, that's exactly what I need.
Raven, now's your chance.
Iguazu, dispose.
It was always so easy for you. The old gen who could do it all. What makes you special?
You were a mistake, Iguazu. Irregular.
And after one final close call, I rev up my chainsaw up Iguazu's ass, and the final boss is defeated.
Fucking did it.
This fight lasted about 3 minutes and 50 seconds. And I died around 61 times.
The freelancer who had it all.
And there you have it, folks. Mad Stomp has made it all the way to the top and eliminated anything that got in his way. Now Rummy is truly invincible. And with that, the challenge run is over. And I must say, for the most part, this was actually pretty fun. But would I recommend you to do this? Well, if you're a masochist, then yeah. I know I made the run look kinda easy, but it actually isn't. I do not recommend fighting the Ice One with this AC data, nor fighting the Arquebus Balteus, or ALLMIND. Those two bosses were a pain in the ass. But anyways, thanks for everyone that suggested this run, and if you have any more suggestions, just put it down in the comments below. Well, this has been Warnight Gamer 4, and make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell notification for alerts when I post a new video. And thanks for watching this video and my previous videos if you have as well. Later.
It's the tale of Invincible Rummy. Yeah, and I'm actually recording this time.